What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the release. I'm getting right into it today, okay? Nick Nurse just got fired. All right. Now, I have brought you myself and David, who is also an avid Raptors fan, okay? We've been Raptors fans like our whole lives, okay? So
100%.
we're here to give y'all just to get down a bit, give our situations and give our opinions. So, like I said, Nick Nurse was fired. You sent me an article. I'm just going to read it out real quick. That said, if I can find it.
The article that I sent.
Yeah. He was on a
okay.
story. Here we go. So it says, what went wrong? It says, Nurse in the front office did not see eye to eye on player usage this year, especially when it came to the younger, less proven players on the roster. Rare is the executive coaching pair that is rare is the executive coaching pair that is perfectly aligned, but it was noticeable. The results clearly were below everybody's expectations. Some of the coaches' relationships had frayed too. Gary Trent Jr. said after the season that he got used to the coach's criticism coming out in the media before Nurse told him in person, and more players had issues with Nurse privately. That's according to Corrine. And David, you got that from the Raptors Insider.
Yeah. But there's a lot to unload there, man. Holy smokes.
So I'm gonna start it off with, it is evident that there was a problem between Nick Nurse and the front office. They were talking about the young guys in that they couldn't decide whether they wanted to start Scotty, bench him, put him at point guard or whatever, and give him the final shot, get the ball in his hands. And that resulted because Scotty was so, like, he was pretty much in a panic mode at that point. So that panic mode of Scotty resulted in him being hated by the fans this year and just getting absolutely decimated. And that's not an environment that you want for your rookie, right? It's like, it's rough.
I was definitely seeing it because I'm in the Discord with a bunch of Raptors fans too, and everybody was just like getting at Scotty's poor performance. And I'm just like, yo, listen, y'all, he is in his second year. I know he just came off his rookie year, like rookie of the year type of season. Like, he's not gonna perform at like this top level. You gotta let him develop, like show his game a little bit more. He just like nobody knew how to guard him in his first year because he's a rookie. Going into the second year, you're going to be more prepared. That's why I feel like his slump a little bit showed up. But like getting into that, like the Nick Nurse and like the not playing the bench, like, and the young guys specifically, like I think that was one of the major problems this year because they didn't really know if they wanted to win or lose.
Yeah,
But
that's the
obviously
problem.
they wanted to win, but like the players just didn't have, I guess, the talent enough to win for some reason. You know what I mean? Like how, like the same team last year went fourth, not fourth seed. Was it fifth seed last year?
No, we were 4 seed last year.
Fourth seed last year. And the same team actually upgraded a little bit with the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And we're 10th seed this year or 9th seed this year. So like I feel like a little bit might have been due to the fact that like they didn't really like Nick Nurse and they wanted him to get fired. That's a little bit of a theory that I have. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like they purposely played a little bit worse to like try and get him out. But like I don't know. It's a lot to unfold. It was crazy, bro.
Yeah, and especially with people like Gary Trent Jr., who's I'd like to think of as a serious key to this Raptors offense, and who I think we need to resign this year, is going out and saying, "Yeah, bro, like I got used to criticism from the media from my coach." He's saying that the coach told the media about him before he told Gary Trent Jr. himself. Like, that's not good coaching, and that's going to tarnish him for a while, especially because one of the players is saying that. So I don't think he's going to find a job next year. I think he's going to be unemployed or have an assistant coaching job.
I remember it was in the like near beginning of the season before the All-Star break. He made that comment of like Gary Trent not playing as good defense as he should have. And that was when he moved to the bench. And I made a comment that time around that year. I'm like, why are you only going after Gary for bad defense when Fred VanVleet was like at that time one of the worst field goals in the league. I think at one point in the season he was like the worst field goals
Yeah.
in the season. He actually ended off this year with the sixth worst field goal like in the season. Like, you're gonna get at him when I think the only player who shouldn't be ridiculed this year at all is Pascal Siakam. I think everybody else should be held accountable for their poor performance because everybody has poor has played perform poorly, goodness gracious, has played poorly at a certain point in the season.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And to only make a comment about Gary was like very disrespectful because he wasn't the only one that was bringing down the team. And then him coming off the bench, he was playing like getting good solid 18 points and then came back. Actually, no, he played off the bench for pretty much the rest of the year. But still, like for him to only go after Gary showed a lot about how he was this year.
Yeah.
He was definitely a lot more aggressive, and I think it might have been due to like some internal conflicts, like you said in the before, like something's wrong with this organization and people need to be fired.
Yeah,
What you
bro.
said.
Yeah, by the way, I called that. By the way, I'm gonna say I called that on March 3rd. But you know, that's facts because when like you said, we couldn't decide whether we wanted to win or lose. And I feel like Nick Nurse may have wanted to win
Hmm.
because when you think about it, his entire time here as an assistant coach, he has not been a losing coach. He
Hmm.
did bad 1 year in Tampa Bay, and that's because we were ridiculed with injuries. We weren't at home. It's all that stuff, right? But like he's fresh off a championship and 50 plus wins every year with the Raptors just to get eliminated in the playoffs by Cleveland. Like we had
Yeah.
some deep playoff runs with him as assistant coach.
Yeah.
And now that he's not used to losing, I don't think he wants to. So this entire time, I've been criticizing Masai Ujiri, saying, yeah, he's taking way too much pride in the players that he's drafted. But
Hmm.
knowing Masai, he might have wanted a high pick, right?
Yeah.
It's not like he tried to do so good last year and try and get into that play. And we lost the last couple of games of the season,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, I think Nick Nurse couldn't handle the fact that he had to be a losing coach for just a short time, and that really got to him. Um, but now that he's fired, the job is open for
Hmm.
new coaches. So who do you think the Raptors are going to sign right now to be that new head coach?
I think even like before Nick Nurse is fired, there's been reports of like Ime Udoka, forgive the pronunciation if I'm wrong, of him being the next coach. So I'm pretty sure he might be the next head coach. I know he has a little bit of like that issue that he had with Boston last year with what I can't specifically remember what
He
problem he had,
cheated
but
on Nia Long, bro.
oh jeez. So yeah, he's obviously gonna have to address what he did,
Mhm.
make an apology, work on he's probably like took this year to work on himself. The NBA probably made him do some like private stuff to work on so he could come back because like a lot of stuff happened this year regarding all that. But yeah, like I feel like Ime Udoka would be the front runner because he brought Boston Celtics to the finals. Like he
Mhm.
is a good coach
Mhm.
aside from like the personal stuff.
Yeah, of course. I think he's the best coach in the league. Um, and you also have guys like the Kings coach. I forget his name now, but
And
you know,
Mike
I
Brown.
Mike Brown. I knew it, was I knew it. But yeah, I think I have three candidates.
Hmm.
So of course, Ime Udoka's one. He's like the perfect combination of offense, defense, and like player development. But then I also have possibly bringing someone like Mike D'Antoni, who's a free agent right now, to
Mm,
help us further develop that offense because our
yep,
offense sucks, right? Or we
100%.
have someone like Mark Jackson who can, develop that the younger players. Because let's face it, that Warriors team that he was coaching was all developed by the time Steve Kerr got there, and then Steve Kerr's the one who gave them the extra push. So if we
Mm,
want some more younger player development, we bring in Mark Jackson, or we sign Mark Jackson or D'Antoni as a little assistant coach type thing and bring in Ime Udoka for the head coaching job because Mike D'Antoni just came off of an assistant coaching job too, right? So
hmm.
you know, I think that would be deadly if we brought any one of those guys in. It would be perfect for us. But even like articles and stuff are saying Ime Udoka is the front runner. It's
Yeah,
very likely that he's going to become the next coach, and
yeah,
with that, he's going to take this team, which is a solid, good team. Like we are a genuinely good squad, and give us the extra push that we need. Uh,
yeah.
But we can't make that extra push without having some off-season signings or some trades and stuff like that. So what do you think is going to happen in the off-season now that we're going to have a new coach and we're going to have to make some changes? So what do you think is going to happen this off-season for the Raptors?
There's going to be definitely big changes. Obviously, the head coaching job is going to
Mm-hmm.
come and play. I think personally they're going to get rid of some of the assistant coaches.
Mm.
And I
Oh
think
yeah,
like
what's his name? AJ Griffin. Something. I think it's just AJ Griffin.
AJ Griffin.
Yeah,
Is
he's
AJ,
supposedly going to the Pistons.
you think so, huh? Like as a
He's
head
supposed.
coach?
Yeah, he's been interviewed. The Raptors gave him
Ooh.
permission to get interviewed.
Fair, fair, fair. But yeah, no, I think a lot of that might totally be flipped. They might hire a whole new staff to try and bring in like a new winning culture type thing
Like
and
fresh.
just yeah, like a refresh. Um, I think one of our stars might get traded. I don't know why I feel like Fred VanVleet might go, but I don't know who we're gonna get in return. You know what I mean? Like unless they like trade Fred and then they get like a couple first round picks for him. Because I don't really see like who else are we gonna get, especially after like as much as I love Fred, he had a terrible season. Who is going to really want Fred on their team?
So here's the thing. Fred VanVleet, since he is a free agent this year,
Mm-hmm.
we could do a sign and trade,
Yeah.
or we can let him walk
Mm-hmm.
and we can pick up, like, we can throw a contract at D'Angelo Russell. Roughly the same amount of pay. Getting Freddie out of there is going to leave us so much money.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give us so much money. So if we want to stay, not contenders, but playoff performers and get into that playoff spot and get better and better, we can sign a younger D'Angelo Russell who's a better shooter, not as good as a defender,
Yeah.
but he still gives us that extra for the offense. We could even if we don't sign him, we let Freddie walk, re-sign guys like Gary Trent Jr. and Jakob Pertl and stuff like that. And then just sign a bunch of young guys or just good offensive pace guys that
Yeah.
that we can get. So I have a couple people written down here. So
Tell me.
our free
Tell
agents right
me.
now are Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., Will Barton, and Jakob Pertl. So I
Mm-hmm.
say we let Freddie walk, re-sign Gary, re-sign Jakob Pertl, and then I don't really care what happens with Will Barton. If we choose to re-sign him, just make sure we get him for cheap.
Yeah.
So let Freddie walk, throw a contract at D'Angelo Russell for playmaking and shooting, throw a contract at Dante DiVincenzo for shooting because he's a great shooter.
Mm-hmm.
We've been seeing that in that Kings Warrior series. Throw a
Yeah.
contract at Matisse Thybulle for defense, and throw a
Okay.
contract at Herb Jones for defense because Herb Jones is sick. So there's a lot of good guys that we can have out there. There's even people like Draymond Green out there that we can do, but yeah, it's just
Nah.
just just a thought. Or we can re-sign Freddie and potentially it'll be difficult, but possibly put something together for Damian Lillard. But the only problem with that is we're gonna have to give up Freddie. We'll have to give up OG. We'll have to give up Gary Trent Jr. We'll have to give up a lot for Damian Lillard, and that's the problem. Because
Yeah.
according to what he said on Stephen A's World, he pretty much wants out. If Portland isn't ready to make the moves they need to do to become an actual good playoff team instead of Dame having to carry them this entire time,
Yeah.
he's evidently getting pissed. Of course, basketball isn't just about winning rings and stuff like that. But, when you're a player as good and as legendary, top 75 as Damian Lillard, you're going to want a ring. You don't want to end up
100%.
like Charles Barkley, right? So,
Yeah.
so he's going to want someone to come over there and help him out because he can't just keep getting helped by guys like Shaden Sharp and stuff like that. He's a young guy. Shaden Sharp, if you're hearing this, I know you've seen my DMs. Okay, he's seen them. He's left me on red. It's okay.
Come,
Just
bro.
forward.
Come
That's
to
it, bro.
Toronto. Come to Toronto.
That's all I'm saying.
We
But
just, you
yeah,
know what? You just throw Pascal and Fred, and then you get Dame and Shaden Sharp. There you
yeah.
go.
I just because I know for a fact
Yeah.
we're gonna try and build around Scotty. We're
Yeah.
gonna try and keep OG. I'm okay with losing Freddie. I'm not okay with losing Pascal right now, man. He pretty
He
much gave
balled
us
out. He balled out.
36 and 6 this year, right? So it's like
No, 100%.
so to lose that would suck. I really, really, really want to see him come back, but if he goes, man, we better,
Be getting
get some young,
something,
yeah, and we better
either some young talent or like someone
that
equally as talented in return.
yeah, that's the thing, right? So if Siakam gets traded this offseason, Once again, going to be sad to see him go, just like it was sad to see Lowry go.
Hmm.
It's going to be weird seeing Fred VanVleet in a different jersey,
Yeah.
but you know what? It's all right. I hope that I want to keep what 3 main guys, and that's Pascal. Oh no, 4 main guys. Sorry, Pascal, OG, Scotty Barnes, and Gary Trent Jr. If we have
Hmm.
those 4 guys on our starting lineup, I think we'll be good. Get rid of everybody else, even get rid of Jakob Pertl for all I care. I just want to keep those 4 guys and build around them. Pascal's quickly becoming a veteran, like a
Hmm.
solid veteran that could
Yeah.
help with young player development. He could really help Scotty on the offensive side. Uh, and so a player like that taking Scotty under his wing and keeping him there while still being fairly young himself is deadly. So I think we
Yeah.
need to keep him in the situation here.
This I think the main guys I want to keep realistically is OG, Scotty, Gary Trent Jr. as well. And I'm pretty sure like that's it. Like the thing I love Pascal, don't get me wrong. He's my dude. But if we can get someone in return for him,
Mhm.
because especially since this season, he's like even against the good teams, he's performed well.
Yeah.
It's not like it's not like even though our terrible season, like 41 and 41, but like he's played well against pretty much every single team he's played. He had like maybe a 15 game bad stretch. Not bad stretch, but like decent stretch.
Yeah, it was like
Not
mediocre.
yeah, mediocre. But other than that, like he's played outstandingly well. He's the reason why we're 41 and 41. But to be honest, like OG is the one guy I really don't want to go. Obviously, Scotty as well. Scotty's
Mhm.
like the one guy everybody doesn't want to go, so I'm just like excluding him. The one guy I really don't want to go is OG because his defense is top
That's
tier.
generational.
It's top tier.
He's first team
He
all defense this year for sure.
he's not gonna get it, but like he's that potential. He's the potential to win Defensive Player of the Year. Like he's already got steals leader. He's the
Mhm.
league steal leader, bro.
Yeah.
So if you can just have Scotty and OG, you build around that, you get offense around them because OG is a consistent shooter, or like well, consistent in a consistent shooter. I'll say it, consistent
Yeah.
shooter.
He's consistent.
Yeah, and then you get offense and defense and build around that. You have a solid team because you
Mhm.
have defensive presence in Scotty and OG, like your 2 anchors, and then you have offense to build around that.
Mhm.
Scotty's a good playmaker. He can like no look pass. We've seen him do it like throughout his career. He can drive in the paint, pass it out, and if you can get someone who can shoot, then we can start winning. Like a lot of these
That's
guys,
facts.
a lot of like the thing, I'll go back to your question about what do we need to do in the offseason. The
Mhm.
main thing we need to focus on is getting offensive talent. I think defense, we actually have a good solid people who can play defense. We just need to focus more on offense this year.
Mhm.
Like defense, as much as it helps you win, you also need the offense to help off the defense. We have OG, we have Scotty, we have Pascal who can defend. We have Jakob who can defend. You know what I mean? Gary Trent is a good on-ball defender as well.
Mhm.
If you can just get people who can shoot or like, just like get solid points, we would be in a much better place this year if we had that. So that's what
Yeah.
they need to focus on the offseason is
Mhm.
offense, offense, offense. And then you have
Mhm.
Ime Udoka, if he is our head coach, he can instill like this team. He can lead this team. He can create plays. Like he can coach, he can make
Mhm.
in-game adjustments. And that'll like help us win.
True. True. So I'm looking at this trade finder right now because I don't know their ESPN has a trade machine. So if we were to trade Pascal Siakam, I think trading him to the Trailblazers would be ideal
Okay.
because the Trailblazers would be stupid if they don't re-sign Jeremy Grant, and they'd also be stupid if they don't re-sign guys like Cam Reddish and Kevin Knox II. So we could do Pascal Siakam and maybe like someone else like Thaddeus Young who's a solid contract. And
Hmm.
in return, we could get someone like Anthony Simons, Shaden Sharp. If they pick up Cam Reddish again, we could get him. right? And then like that, those are the types of trades that could work. Or we can just go all in and get someone like, Jeremy Grant in return, who's very similar to Pascal Siakam, slightly worse, but I think, yeah, if Siakam were to go somewhere, it has to be the Trailblazers. I've been thinking that all year, and
Yeah.
it very well might happen this offseason, especially if the Trailblazers re-sign some of the young guys. Fred VanVleet, I don't know where he'll go. We're probably just gonna let him walk, but overall,
It all
big
depends,
offseason
man.
incoming for the Raptors.
Big.
Big coaching changes that are going to come in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, we're looking better next year, but there's a possibility that
100%.
we might tank, get some good draft picks, and I'd be okay with that. But let us know what y'all think in the comments, all right? This has been a quick, just 1-2 episode, letting y'all know what we think should happen as two avid Raptors fans, all right? So thank y'all so
100%.
much. God bless y'all. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, comment, and share. That's 5 things for y'all to do, okay? You
Oh,
got 5
yeah.
fingers. I want you to count all 5, all right? Make sure to do that because that way we can get bigger than we already are, okay? And we are the best podcast on earth, and other people need to know this, all right?
Facts.
So thank y'all so much for watching. Have a good day, night, evening, wherever y'all stay at. God bless. Peace.